and again to protect their interests and evade the laws to which we are all held accountable. We today uphold our solemn responsibility to ensure that everyone stands equal before the law. No amount of money and no amount of power changes that enduring American principle.
And that was the DA, Alvin Bragg, and joining me now, the former Manhattan DA, the District Attorney, Cy Vance. He initially opened this investigation into Trump, but did not bring charges. So, Cy, there's so much to ask you about because, you know, I know you don't want to be a central figure in this, but of course you are. And what you did and didn't do and why is so important here. So when we go through the actual indictment, 34 counts, every one of them a felony related to falsifying business records, right? It's one after the other. All that changes really is the date. Is there anything in this indictment, as you go through it, that you did not expect to see?
Aaron, first of all, thank you for having me on, and it's good to see you. I think the indictment, in one sense, was as predicted. It was an indictment containing counts around felony counts around false business records elevated by the object of the misdemeanor crimes to affect the voting laws, either state or federal. What I did find different, and where I differ from some of your excellent panelists that were just on, is I found the document actually quite detailed. I mean, it is a speaking indictment, and it has quite a bit of detail about the history and laid out the facts underlying then the various counts that are listed. So I thought that the indictment provided more detail than perhaps others expected.
Okay, so then you're referring here to the 12-page statement of facts, right, which accompanied the actual charges themselves. And in this, you know, we read
I was referring to the indictment itself.
To the indictment itself. Okay, so can you explain there then, because the description that we've seen sort of has been that it was bare bones, right? That it just lists the date and that the voucher number of the check and, you know, false entry of business records. So can you explain what you did find in here that was more detailed than you expected?
Well, I think, at least the indictment I think I read, was the counts are always fairly bare bones, but it's the prefatory language that is used before the counts that outlines the scheme that the prosecution is making public to educate the public, presumably, on the background of the facts that relate then to the substantive counts.
All right. So in that section, as this goes through, Alvin Bragg lays out those. So what did you find there that was new or that surprised you, these details here?
Well, I'm not really surprised. I think it was an indictment that was not bare bones. I'm just saying in contrast to some of the comments in your prior panelists. Okay. I've seen bare bones indictments before, and they can be very bare bones. This is not a bare bones indictment.
All right, so let me try to understand maybe a different way if I ask this. Alvin Bragg said he got additional evidence in this case, and he said that in the press conference. So from reading the indictment, and you obviously were very familiar with all the evidence in the case that was available until you left the DA's office. So from what you read in the indictment, are you clear on what the new evidence that Alvin Bragg obtained was?
No, I can't, Aaron, go through paragraph line by line and say what was new and what was within our knowledge. First and foremost, I have to be mindful of confidences that go around the process. When we were looking at this matter, this was in the grand jury context, so the things I simply can't relate. But what I can say, by way of background, is we began our investigation in roughly 2017. At the same time, we learned that the federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York were looking at Mr. Trump as well. And I was asked by the Southern District to stand our efforts down because they said they've got this in hand. And I because I believe the Southern District is an excellent office with great prosecutors, I was prepared to defer to them. I was surprised, therefore, in 2018 when Michael Cohen pled guilty that the Southern District never went anywhere with that case, and it stopped. In the meantime, we had been focusing on an economic crimes investigation, and I can say that because Mr. Trump sued me and the office attaching our grand jury subpoena in federal court. And so we were onto what I would say is a different economic crimes investigation, and we're then moving forward on a broader investigation.
All right. So when Alvin Bragg was asked the question at the presser, and he was just asked, and it said the question included the premise that your predecessor declined to charge. Now, in his answer to the question, Bragg did not challenge that premise. So I just want to give you a chance to clear the record here. You're saying you stood down because the Southern District of New York asked you to. Is that the same thing as saying that, I mean, did you specifically decline to bring charges because you didn't think they were merited or not at the time?
I don't think we ever, I'm sure District Attorney Bragg has new facts that he gathered during his investigation. Really, Aaron, I think I've explained it. There was a federal investigation, which I deferred to, and by the time that went nowhere, we then had already picked up an economic crimes investigation, which had to take place during COVID, and in furtherance of which we had to go to the Supreme Court twice and get a ruling by the Supreme Court in, I think, 2020 that the president and Trump organization had to turn over all its financial records to us, which ultimately then led to an indictment of the corporation, of the CFO of the corporation, which ultimately was convicted after trial.
The $1.6 million fine for Trump.
There was a lot of work that we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, you're saying you think he got new information. So do I read into that you didn't have enough and that he must have gotten more?
I wouldn't read Aaron into anything too much. We did a very thorough investigation. We obviously had to work within a system of dual prosecutions that were being conducted by two offices. We ultimately spent a great deal of time reestablishing principles of law that the Supreme Court reiterated in their decision, and went on to build the financial crimes investigation against the Trump organization, which is the alter ego of the president.
One final question to you, Cy, if I may. And this case seems, in terms to get to a felony, right, is based upon the premise that the president of the United States did this because he wanted to be elected, right? And he suppressed this information because he wanted to be elected. We do know, as a matter of fact, from not just what Michael Cohen has said, but historical record about even involving some of the individuals in this case, where stories were given to magazines and suppressed, squelched, when Trump was not a candidate. So are you confident that this clears the hurdle, that his motive was really to do this so that he could get elected when he was doing it prior to being a candidate for election?
Well, I don't think, Aaron, it's my job to make that judgment call from the outside. That was District Attorney Bragg's job, and I think he's obviously said what he's going to do. But if I can, I'd like to make just two quick points before we go stepping back. Number one, today was a peaceful day. The federal government, the FBI, the NYPD, Secret Service, and court officers, notwithstanding fears of violence and extreme behavior, it was an orderly proceeding. And that, I think, speaks well of Judge Merchan and of New York City to be able to hand this proceeding going forward. I think we should all be very pleased and grateful. Second, outside of the legal work, what's going on in court, there's obviously politics that are driving opinions across America. This is, interestingly, a little bit like what happened with Bill Clinton, but with other parties. When he was investigated by Ken Starr for 5 years, ultimately, the then president, surrendered his law license in order to resolve the investigation. All the Democrats were outraged that the Republicans were going after Bill Clinton. All the Republicans felt that it was absolutely appropriate to look into Bill Clinton's sexual dalliances. So let's put the politics, let's let the politics be handled by the politicians, and let's just make sure that we keep our eye on having the legal proceedings orderly and supported by all of us.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Cy Vance. I appreciate your time, and our special coverage continues right after.